Hello everyone, it's me, Tom Hoystyle. Sorry, that was awful. But yeah, it's me, Tom Hoystyle. You may know me from Instagram. I say Tom Hoystyle because that's what you might know me as from there. But I've been doing a ton of writing recently. I've just come back from a trip from Japan. And I've wanted to do vlogs like this for quite some time. I'm honest when I say that it's taken me absolute years to get to this point. I've made a ton of YouTube shorts, I've made a ton of content for Instagram, but I thought, you know what? Now's the time for you to get to know me better. So I thought I'd do a bit of a day in the life video and answer a few of your questions along the way. So thank you for everyone that sent those in. I'll be doing more of these in the future, fingers crossed. I've got a few planned, so let's see how it goes. I hope you enjoy the video. This next question I really like, and it's one, believe it or not, I think about all the time. Other than clothing, I think my favourite thing in the world is to travel. And I've been very fortunate enough and lucky enough to visit some amazing places. Even quite recently. So I think other than Manchester, in the UK it obviously would be London, and I know that goes against your question, but I do just love Manchester. I've been here 11 years now, and over my time here it's just got better and better every year. The city continues to grow, continues to get better. Businesses do come and go, but there's a fair few new ones that come along the way that are really cool. There's a fair few shops that I just love here, such as like Rivet and Hyde's really cool for Selvage denim, Hip Store just next door. Got all sorts. There's a cluster in Northern Quarter in Manchester, which is my favourite place in Manchester, where I spent 90% of my time whilst I'm here. But Northern Quarter is an incredible place, and one thing which actually leads me nicely into where I would live if not here, if money was no option, of course. If money wasn't an option, of course, I should say, it would be New York. Well, why wouldn't you choose New York? Particularly if you're into the type of clothing I'm into. The Village in New York often gets compared to Northern Quarter here in Manchester, and it's really easy to see why. I think it's got that, I think Northern Quarter's got that villagey feel. As I said before, cluster is a good word. It's a nice cluster of independent retailers, coffee shops, and just all the cool places. Cool isn't a great word, but that's exactly what I'd call it, really. I went to New York, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years ago now, and yeah, I came back and was just absolutely inspired by the place. Other than Tokyo, of course, but I think if I had to pick between Tokyo and New York, I would pick New York. I'd pick New York. Yeah, and if I could live anywhere in New York, it'd be the Village. I just think there's so much cool history around there of just musicians, poets, actors, and everyone that lived around there. You had Steve McQueen in the Village, you had Bob Dylan, loads of cool people, and why not try to be one of them? We are out for a coffee, and lately I've been really getting into going to places on Lime scooters in Manchester. I kind of hate myself for it, but it's fun. It's like being 8 years old again. Also, apologies if this looks a bit gross, but I just wondered what everyone thinks. Does anyone else love beat up sneakers as much as I do? There's something about them. I love that they're dirty, they're bashed up. They're loved. I think loved is the key word. I got them from Oi Polloi in Northern Quarter, which is now actually Hip Store, which you saw a moment ago. I don't know how many years ago, it might have been before lockdown, but I love them. I think I just love the juxtaposition that you can wear something really smart on top and something really kind of grotty on the bottom. Grotty is a horrible word. So this question is a good one, and it is, what are the big differences between street style in the UK and in Japan? And I think the main one is that over there just seems to be a big acceptance for subcultures, and I think there's a societal thing of like, whatever you're into, just really be into it and take pride in it. In the UK, I think there tends to be a worry of either we'll be made fun of or be laughed at, someone will take the mick out of us for being what we're into. And in Japan, I guess there is that to some degree, but I'd say there's a thing of like, don't do things by half. So if you're into it, be really into it, hone it, know everything about it, and I really appreciate that. Ivy style in Japan just seems absolutely normal. I think what happened in like the 50s, the 40s, whenever. It's just been absolutely ingrained in them, and there is a lot of pride taken in how you look, I think. Even down to like, I saw people that were kind of builders and they had white cotton gloves on, Oxford shirts with a high vis on top. But there's just a level of pride of whatever job you do, take absolute pride in it. And I don't think they dress like that because they have to. I think it's a respect thing. And I really appreciate that. There's nothing obviously wrong with dressing down. Why would you want to go to work in your best clothing? But I do appreciate the fact that if you're going to do a job, do it the best you can. They do it really respectfully too. And I think that was the big difference I kind of saw. In terms of street style though, I suppose, it was very much like London, where you've got different areas like Camden, Soho, but you've got obviously Shinjuku, Harajuku, Yanaka, and it was really interesting to see the mix of classic Japanese clothing alongside maybe styles that were originally Western, and seeing how the Japanese have erased what the word Western means, made it their own. Because I think it's unfair to say that the Japanese just have kind of copied a style, because I disagree with that most of the time. I think they've just made it their own. It would be unfair to say that the Japanese are just taking Western style and making it their own. I think they've just made their own style altogether. This next question is, how do I organise my wardrobe? And if I'm honest, as much as I'd like to think I'm pretty organised in that department, I'm just absolutely not. And I think I like to just keep it as open as possible, and I wear whatever I feel like on that day. What the thing is with me, my attention will just dart from one thing to the other so quickly that I'm always just changing inspirations, but to some degree anyway. I mean, I'm always kind of along the Ivy route for now anyway, I suppose. But I don't know, I can watch a film and be absolutely inspired. I remember a while back it was always all about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and even though I did still lean Ivy, like I always do, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and that kind of 1969, late 60s Levi's look was all that I was kind of about for a while. But I think that's like most things, particularly with me, it can be a lot to do with the weather. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I saw that, and then it was a really hot summer here in Manchester, which doesn't happen often, so you want to make the most of it. In terms of I think one way you could say I've organised my wardrobe over the years though is that I've just really found what I like, what I think suits my body, and what I'm really happy with. And for me, my everyday kind of uniform kind of revolves around something like this, I suppose. A white t-shirt, this one's by 316, chambray shirt, or some sort of Oxford. Today chambray, I was feeling that. This one's by Kamakura. And a cap by John Simons that they did for their 50th anniversaries. They're really cool. I was really glad John Simons finally did caps, because I think they're a really cool brand, and the heritage is there. Everyone loves John Simons in our kind of in our group of people, in our kind of realm. Realm sounds a lot more prolific, but you know what I mean. Like, John Simons is one of them brands that's just synonymous with Ivy style. So it only made sense they made their own caps. Yeah, I really like this one. This is established 1955, and it's the Ivy the Elephant one that they did for their Madras print shirts, which are woven in India. But yeah, that's a long way of answering your question, how do I organise my wardrobe? I guess I don't really. I just wear what I feel like. And if I'm honest, as soon as I organise something, and I decide this is what I'm wearing, my attention span will just go off it, and I won't be interested anymore. I keep it fun, keep it loose, wear what I feel like, wear pieces that I genuinely just really like, and yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Wear what makes you happy, and that's something I always bang the drum about. Wear what makes you happy. Try not to listen to people that don't like what you're wearing, because it doesn't matter. Here is my latest pickup. It is a Brooks Brothers made in USA Oxford shirt in this beautiful washed yellow colourway. I've wanted the yellow for ages. I just didn't own one. And I am super pleasantly surprised because I can't quite believe how soft the fabric is. It is pre-loved, but that is probably better, I think, with an Oxford shirt because someone's washed it. And a good Oxford shirt should get better with every wash. And this is certainly a good example of one doing exactly that. I got it from Marked. If you've not heard of Marked before, I'm not sponsored, but it's worth a shout out. Marked sell a lot of pre-loved items, often in brand new condition. Someone just doesn't want them anymore. They're graded, they're looked after, and from a ton of brands that I love particularly. I don't know, Brooks Brothers, Ralph Lauren, John Simons, J Press, The Real McCoys, Buzz Rickson. I could go on and on and on, but it's really worth it checking out if you haven't heard of them before. Check out Marked. Okay, so for this next question, it's asking for shoe recommendations, and I'm gonna go against the boundary of what shoes are, I suppose, with a pair of sneakers, because I've just picked them up recently. And to be honest, if I was to give you all my shoe recommendations, that would be a whole video within itself. So I'm just going to talk about something I picked up recently. They were on my shopping list for ages, but I finally kind of pulled the trigger and went for a pair. It's these reproduction of found German GAT trainers. And if you don't know what GATs are, it basically stands for German Army Trainer, because it's what the German Army wore in the 80s in the gym. This is a grey colourway. You can pick these up really easy from a couple of different companies, but reproduction of found are fantastic. Made in Czechoslovakia, to the same standard as what they were in the 80s that the German Army wore. They're extremely comfortable. They look a bit, I suppose, like a pair of Adidas. I don't tend to really wear Adidas, and I don't really tend to wear trainers at all, but I love the minimalistic approach to these. They've got that classic signature sole you expect from one of these pairs of trainers. They're extremely comfortable because on the back here, lots of support for your Achilles, stupidly cushioned, you know, they've got that signature suede detailing there. They look amazing, I think, with a pair of fatigues, chinos, and they're very much part of that Japanese city boy look, which I love. These cost about £200 in the UK anyway, but I really recommend picking up a pair. You can also find them in vintage stores. There's a couple of places in Manchester that you can find them secondhand, very reasonable prices, but yeah, they're very versatile, very classic, and because of their minimal design, they just go with just about anything. Okay, so this final question is a really cool one. It's someone asking if I can recreate my trip in Tokyo by making a map so you can do it yourself. Well, yes and no. I don't want to give it all away straight away, but now I guess is a good time to announce, and if I announce it, it means it has to happen, doesn't it? Because you're all going to know about it. I am in the middle of writing a kind of book/zine about my trip in Tokyo, and a bit of an extension from my blog, Easy on the Ivy, where you can, I don't know, it's a bit of my own guide, not necessarily a guide of everywhere I think you should go to, but just a guide of the places that I went to. Everything from shops like Hanoya, J Press in Aoyama, to some of the food I ate along the way. So, in answer to your question, yes, I can make you a guide, but it'll be available soon to purchase. How long that'll be until that comes out, I'm not sure, but stay tuned. I am in the middle of writing it. I've written most of it. Someone asked me the other day, where do I find the time to do everything? And if I'm honest, I've no idea. I have no idea. So I would appreciate it if when it comes out, if you'd grab a copy. I've never done anything like this before. But last year, for the roundup of my blog, on Christmas, when I sent out like a Merry Christmas message, I did promise merchandise of some sort, and I see this being the start of it. So I'd really appreciate you checking that out. If you're not already subscribed to my blog, you can do over at tomhoy.substack.com. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully it's the first of many. There'll be lots more to come, I hope. As I said earlier on, I've got a few more planned a few more in the pipeline. But let's see how it goes. I hope you've really enjoyed this, and I'll catch you again soon.